Shabbat Shalom. This week's Torah portion is called Parshas Nitzavim, Vayelech, Nitzavim, and standing, Vayelech, and walking. It's also the last Shabbos of the year. Why? Because next Shabbos is the first day of Rosh Hashanah. What's the big deal about the last Shabbos of the year? There's a very beautiful sefer, a Torah book called Yismach Yisrael, and he says, when you pick up a staff on one end, you pick up the entire staff. When a person fixes something on the last day, he fixes all the previous days. Shabbos is the most important day of the week. When a the last Shabbos of the year is on its highest possible level, that's a tikkun, that's a way to repair anything negative for the entire coming year. Okay, so this Shabbos, more than any other Shabbos, is important to make it kodesh, to make it separate. How we think, how we speak, how we act, every way should be connected to Hashem. Okay, now it's very interesting that the Torah is called Nitzavim Vayelech. They seem to be opposite words, standing and walking. There's a very beautiful story about the Imre Emes. It was the son of the Tzvas Emes, the grandson of the Chidushei Harim, the third Ger Rebbe, and he wants to ask his father about the dichotomy between the two names. And this is what his father said. His father said that Hashem so much wanted the Jewish people to prepare properly for their coming into Eretz Yisrael, because this Torah portion was said just before Moses passed away on the 7th day of Adar, before the Jewish people entered Israel, and it's similar to our entering into the high holidays. He said, Nitzavim, okay, you're all standing still, and Vayelech Moshe, and I'm moving, I'm transforming. If I can do it, you can do it. So that's one of the commentaries of why Nitzavim and Vayelech is the last Shabbos. But there's another story, a very beautiful story, about a chassid of Rabbi Meir from Shlan. This man, Rabbi Yitzchak was his name. He was a successful person, a good businessman, a person that the whole community thought he was an upright and upstanding and successful individual. And he started having terrible trouble. Nothing was going right. Nothing was going right, to the point where he didn't even have money to buy a wagon trip to see Rabbi Meir. But he said, I must go to Rabbi Meir before the end of the year. I must see him and get a blessing that next year should be better than this year. So he starts walking, he puts a few things into a bag and he starts walking. And he gets most of the way. All of a sudden, he sees a big wagon coming towards him. He steps to the side. The wagon pulls up. He sees inside there's a rabbi and some younger men and some of his followers. Okay, and the rabbi looks out and says, Rabbi Yid, where are you going? He said, I'm going to Rabbi Meir from Ishlan to get a bracha. And he says, well, I'm Rabbi Meir. What bracha do you need? And he said, oh my gosh, Rebbe, it's been a terrible year. Everything went wrong. I want you to give me a bracha that next year should be a good year. And he said, and what did Rabbi Meir said? And it's a message for all of us. He said, this week's Torah portion is Nitzavim Vayelech. True, things are standing still now, but next year they're going to start going. So it should be for each of us, right? Wherever we're holding, we should see ourselves in a place of standing. Start moving. Start connecting to spiritual things. Start learning more Torah, doing more mitzvahs to prepare for the high holidays. From a standing place, go to Vayelech, walking, and it will be a good and sweet year for everybody.